Well, here we are, my friends. It's been a while because of the lockdown, but I got out and about again, and we are driving through the Flula Pass in Switzerland. Down below where we live, it's about 24 degrees. Here it's only 5 degrees. It's really quite cool. Still snow, even though it's summer. And yeah, it's just nice. Fresh air. It's lovely. After being stuck inside, well, we weren't really stuck inside. We live in the country, so out walking the dogs. So we didn't have it too bad. But it's more or less over here now. Yeah, so we're heading up there to that tunnel to continue our journey. And yeah, got a few things for you in the next episode. 2 junk stores, so that's something to look forward to. This one we find an abandoned hotel right on lakeside. This is just driving through different towns. Oh, lovely painted buildings. Sort of get a feeling of how it was back in the old days. And I guess it would have been a lot of English tourists back then, convalescing, getting away from the London smog. Yeah, look at this beautiful hotel, right on the lake here. The air doesn't get much fresher than this, I can assure you. Yeah, temperature here is quite nice. There's no sun, but it's yeah, it's about 20. It's comfortable. Yeah, I found this little old house as we were driving through. It's been burnt out. I'll just speed it up by doing a Charlie Chaplin waddle. Get there a bit quicker. Yeah, so the place has seen better days. It appears to have been made of wood, which is not a good combination with fire, is it? So it would have taken hold, all those dried out timbers would have taken hold very quickly. Totally gutted. I'm wondering whether it had been like a boarding house. Of course, I tried the door, but it's locked. I can't get in. And I don't expect there would have been much to see. Would have been quite a lovely house when it was first built. I can imagine it being painted beautiful ochre colours. And now it has come probably to the end of the line. Quite a lot of old. There's not many new places up here, which is nice to see. Sort of you get the feeling of how old Switzerland used to look. You'll see more as we continue our journey. We're heading along this road here. Quite a few more Swiss people are staying in Switzerland this year because of the coronavirus. They're not sort of going abroad for cheap holidays. And there's the William Tell statue. I'm sure you all know about that story where he shot the apple off his son's head. Yeah, don't know why he would do that, but there you go. This is quite a nice town as well. You can see there the oh yeah, I spotted these guys drinking schnapps early in the morning. Why not? Yeah, obviously you can see the restaurant there. It's probably also a victim, fallen victim to the lockdown. A lot of places have closed. You can't survive if you can't run your business. Very tragic. And that great old building. So like a tea rooms, they sell cakes and stuff. Oh, fantastic. Imagine living up there. That's where I'd like to be. That house up there. Wow, love it. I love it. Found this place. It appears to have been well, it is an abandoned restaurant, hotel. It had been a hotel and restaurant. It's obviously been closed a long time. This has nothing to do with the coronavirus. This has been closed for quite a while. I attempt to gain entry through this doorway here, because I'm thinking there might be some good things in there still to see, if they just left it how it was, and it's quite a big place. So I tried the door, I didn't include the scene, what's the point, ended in frustration, but when I went round the other side, to the right, and I looked, all the windows were very, very clean, and then I could see washing hanging out. There's obviously people living in there. I don't know whether they're squatting, but it's definitely lived in. So I didn't pursue trying to gain entry any longer, you know. Would have been nice to if it had been abandoned, but obviously it's not. I don't know the story there, but there's people living there. So we continue onwards, but we do find an abandoned hotel eventually. Look at this. This is actually a school. How foreboding, isn't it? It's like something out of an Emily Bronte book, doesn't it? Amazing. That's built to last. That's not built of timber. I don't think you could burn that down. Amazing looking place. This is another part right on the sea, and the weather's drying up now. It's sort of like a fine rain. Didn't bother me at all, but now it's clearing up and it's turning really beautiful. This is actually our hotel. This is where one of the hotels we stayed in. And it's right on the lake. Really nice. And they're obviously suffering too, they said, because of this coronavirus. Having a really hard time. And this place has been around for, over 100 years. Be a shame if it closed. We come here every time to the same place. We get the best room. Always book the same room. Overlooking the lake. Yeah, so I thought we would support them. Give them a little bit anyway. I certainly don't want that they close. All these poor businesses, they're really rich and elite. They get overly compensated, but if you're sort of like working class, middle class, you're left without an oar, aren't you? So this is our room. I mean, the place is old. The rooms are not huge. They've modernised it inside, but it's very nice, and the staff are absolutely so friendly. Got everything you need, really. Nice big sort of balcony, right on the lake. Yeah, it's all a bit hazy today, but I think it's disgraceful when people pollute the water with old tyres, etc. Look at that mess there in the middle. What the hell is that? Peaceful. If you like peaceful, and we do, this is the place. And there's a great Thai restaurant that we go to every time as well. They are fantastic. Really nice. Not cheap here in Switzerland. Everything is expensive. Just a few days away, it's going to cost you, a fair bit of money if you want to stay in a nice place and have nice meals. Even if you don't, it's still going to cost you money. Switzerland is just expensive. This is the outside of the hotel. It really has been quite a grand old place. And yeah, I hope they keep going, as I said before. So this is the abandoned one I found. It's just down the road from our hotel. Obviously also been a beautiful place in its time. And do you remember that French chateau where I told you about the squirrel man? Across the road here, there was another squirrel man who was watching my every move. He was hiding in a glass doorway, peeking at me. Oddie was waving at him, which was infuriating him. But I thought, bugger you. You can go call the police if you want. He was just hanging there. And every time I looked at him, he'd quickly pop his head back, like thinking I hadn't seen him. Hello, we're waving at him. We go in this place. Unfortunately, it has been absolutely trashed and gutted. So I'm telling you beforehand so you don't get overly disappointed. And what I did when I come out, because he was gawking at me, and there was another guy too gawking when I came out, I just pulled my fly up, pretending I'd had a quick piddle around the back. Yeah, that seemed to satisfy their curiosity. Well, where were these squirrel guys when all these vandals came in and smashed the place up? That's what I want to know. I don't look like a vandal. Just checking it out. I guess this place, although it's in a beautiful location, which you'll soon see, I guess it must have been the fact that it just got old and needed renovating, and they just found the cost too much. Because it really is. It's also on the lake. You can see. But looking at this, what do you think? Has it been stripped, or see the floor is rotted? I can't go down there. It's a big gaping hole. Has it been stripped, or were they starting reconstruction work on it again and run out of money? They've got supports in here. These supports, I don't think were part of the... Well, maybe they were. It's been a huge place. And huge places are usually the ones who do collapse. See, it's right here. It's beautiful. It's on the lake. It must have been a fantastic place to stay. Usually the bigger places are the ones that do collapse. I don't mean physically. I mean when there's an economic downturn, they just can't survive. The overheads are so much. And this has obviously fell victim to that, and also probably it needed updating. I mean, you imagine having to fix the electrics or the water pipes in here. It's just not worth it, is it? But I guess the land is still worth a lot of money. I'd like to live right on the lake's edge. I didn't bother going upstairs, my viewers. I tell you what, because you can see it's going to be the same. It'll be a bit of a boring video. It's just... There's nothing, everything's been ripped out, toilets and everything. So it is possible they're preparing it for demolition. Yeah, same story everywhere. And so I depart, giving my one last middle finger to the squirrel man, and continue the journey. Now we are in Interlaken. This is really quite a favourite spot for people from sort of Saudi Arabia, sort of the Arab countries. They love coming here. It's very popular. They buy jewellery and watches, luxury watches, Rolex, etc. But because of the coronavirus, it was really like a ghost town. There was hardly anybody there. And last time we came here a couple of years back, it was packed. Now the overseas visitors have dropped off. You've got the casino there. They must know there's also a drop in income. And this is sort of the main drag of Interlaken. This is one of those little sort of Vespa 3-wheel truckettes. I love them. I love them. I want to be like, what's his name? Jay Leno. I want to have a vintage car collection like him. It's not fair. Just having a sip of tea. Look at that. That's been a beautiful old hotel. The Grand Hotel. Oh, I'd love to slip back in time just to see how it was. Oh, where's my dream? So when you look behind the sort of facade here of the main street, you can still see how pastoral it is, you know. You can see the real sort of Swiss countryside. It's just like a sort of veneer, isn't it, the main street? And then behind it, these old houses and cows. Not far removed at all. By the way, this house here looks like an old witch's house. And you would really think that's an abandoned place. It's probably from the 1700s. But I'm telling you what, someone lives in there. Although I've never seen them, but the people tell me this. Someone lives in there, and at 6 months of the year they go to Thailand, and then come back for the summer months. But every so often the council orders him to cut the foliage back, remove all the overgrowth because of the rat and fox problem. But then he does it and then lets it grow back again. I think he likes that sort of decayed look. I'll show you around the front. Here's the front of the buildings on the main street. Looks as equally dilapidated. He's really old. Look at the windows boarded up, and apparently the guy is like a millionaire. He's not short of a quid. So maybe it's to deter break-ins. I don't know. Or he just likes it, or he just can't be bothered. I found this, well, occasionally I do sort of the industry areas. I cruise around the back streets there, see what I can find, and I found this old Cadillac Ambulance. Now, I'm no expert on Cadillacs, but it's probably from the late 50s, early 60s. Correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, someone is going to attempt to restore this at some stage. And it looks like the carcass is quite good. Apart from surface rust, I don't see any major rust issues. Look at the hinges, like door hinges, aren't they? So this is quite a rarity in Switzerland, so I'm sure they're going to attempt to fix it up, and maybe make it into a rat rod. I don't know. There was no one around to ask, but they seem to have all the panels here. As I say, it just seems to be surface rust. I didn't have a magnet with me, but from what I could see, there didn't seem to be any filling done, any plastic filler. Really just bubble rust on the surface. And usually you can tell, unless it's a really good panel beater, you can usually tell if there's been any sort of filling job. So no, I think it's come from a dry climate, and there's great potential. Look at the wooden. Can you see where the wood floorboards there? Yeah, I'll maybe pop back in a year and see if they've done anything with it. Next video, we got the junk stores coming up, so stay tuned for that. I know a lot of you like the junk store tours, and they're quite good, these ones. I think you'll see some pretty interesting stuff. The old caddy, I love them. Just like tanks, aren't they? Wow, you haven't got to worry about paying out for petrol with one of these. What do you reckon that? Is it diesel or is it a petrol engine? I'd say petrol, but I don't know for sure. Back in the days when gas was cheap, Cadillac, the sign of excellence. And this thing here, the exact opposite of a Cadillac, a little squirt. But I've never seen anything like this before. Does anyone know what this model is? Not this one here on the trailer. This little guy here. It's really hard to see with the reflection, but it's got two wheels at the front and one wheel at the back. And I have never seen this model car before. I don't know whether somebody has made it themselves, but it is indeed a curiosity. So we'll be visiting this junk store here, which has got some great stuff. This is in the Brunig Pass, where we're driving through the mountains there. And this place here is an abandoned chateau that is opposite the hotel where we stayed. A fantastic old place. It's for sale. Can you believe that? A massive price, and apparently someone told me the upkeep would be that in a year as well. So yeah, anyway, that's all coming in the next episode. Stay tuned. It'll be in a few days time, won't be too long. Take care, God bless. See you next time, my friends.